emotional intelligence is one's ability to manage, use, and understand emotions. It's that one underappreciated and neglected quality that helps us be a better friend, citizen, and worker. It's a very, very vast topic that dives deep into many aspects of life. But on my life, it's had a very significant impact. And yours too, but many people don't realize that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Advik Rohith, and here's a short brief about myself. I love listening to music, specifically rap music. In fact, I listen to so much of rap music that my father refers to it as crap music now. I'm a very big sports enthusiast. That means I love watching and playing sports. Playing sports is something I have always done for fitness. I am a gamer who loves playing Valorant, the only game I play as of now. It's amazing. And I'm a very curious person, and I love participating in a lot of events, debates, elocutions, radios, TVs, basically everything that comes my way. I love public speaking, as you can see right now. My family consists of 4 people, which are my father, my mother, my sister, and I. And my father is in the Indian Air Force. So me and my family shift homes every 1 or 2 years. And my life has always been about making friends every 1 or 2 years. And this has had a very big impact on my personality. I recently realized that I've been responding to change and adapting to it all my life. In fact, I've been forced to adapt, as you could say. I've never been scared of expressing myself, and I've constantly talked to people who've made me realize that I'm doing something that a lot of people can't do. So I slowly retraced my journey, and after seeing hundreds of embarrassing things, I noticed a few positives, and that's what I'm going to share with you. Why? A high EQ leads to the development of relationships, the reduction of team tension, the enhancement of job satisfaction, and the resolution of conflict. To my family who's watching in the back, yes, Advik Rohith knows how to use big words now. The need to be, okay, adapt, okay, wait. A high EQ is something that everybody needs. And I've seen so many people that are so technically gifted. They're the best in their skills, but they're not able to do well. Why? Because they are not able to connect with people on a higher level. They're in their tiny cocoon and they don't interact with people that much, yet they're so technically gifted that they could be the best in their field. As we continue to live in this growingly disconnected world, a high EQ is something that will help us in proper existence. A good EQ is proportional to your life happiness. A Harvard Business Review stated that 80% of top performers differentiate from the average ones in the domain of emotional intelligence. I myself have subconsciously liked people with high emotional quotient. I feel that they make you comfortable. They make you feel comfortable in a situation, and they let you talk. They listen to you. They comprehend what you're saying, and just don't let it out their ear. Let me tell you an incident. I was in class 6, and nobody wanted to work with me on a group project. It was a group project that my teacher introduced, in which we had to convince others to work with us. And even my best friends at the time did not want to work with me. And this affected me. So I went and asked them, why do you not want to work with me? And they told me, you don't listen, you constantly belittle others, you do this, you do that, and they basically gave me a bill of my own flaws. And that day, I realized that I had to be a better speaker, a better listener, a better person in a whole. So I tried to be conscious of my conversations after that. And coincidentally, my father read a book about how to be a better listener, and he came to me. And he said that I've observed a few things about you. I've observed that you don't listen. You only hear. You hear from one ear and you let it out the other. You don't comprehend what I'm saying. He also told me that I needed to be considerate. And I needed to be considerate. I needed to see what other people were feeling, and I did not need to be brutally honest. And that leads me to my second point. We need to be self-aware. We need to be aware that our emotions may affect us and everyone around us in a positive and negative way. You never know, something you said has affected someone so much that their whole life has changed. When I switch schools, I look for the person who I feel is the most comfortable in conversing with others. The person who will go to one room and he'll say, "Did you catch the match last night? I feel Chennai should have won. Mumbai's won enough times now." And then he goes to the other side of the room and he's talking about that maths problem, that math gave yesterday. So easy. I could have done it in my sleep. Basically, he has something to talk about with everybody. And then I observe the people who are in their tiny cocoons, or as us, and we call it introverts, but I like to refer to them as hidden gems. These people have so much to talk about, and they're amazing. They're amazing to talk to, but they're not able to connect with people. And those are the people I'm trying to target with this talk. In numerous occasions, I've realized the importance of emotional quotient. My friend's dog died. I'm so sorry for your loss if you're watching. And this incident has had a very significant impact on my life. Because that day, even though that guy was one of my best friends, I was considering even forgetting him, never talking to him again. And questions like, what do I say to him? I don't know how to deal with this. Let's not deal with this. Let's not talk to him for now. These questions kept springing into my thoughts. And that day I realized that I didn't know how to deal with this and where I lack. And then I took a leap of faith. I went and talked to him. And after a very awkward conversation, I realized that we have to put ourselves through these uncomfortable situations in order to grow emotionally. You need to experience something, only then you can grow. The need for IQ is evident everywhere. Have you ever had that experience where you suddenly became team leader because, of course, the team leader wasn't there, and you don't know who's good at what? Let's say this person A and person B. So person A is really good at physics, and person B is really good at public speaking, but you don't know either of that. So you give person A public speaking, and this guy you tell him to do physics. And in the end, the product that the team develops is just bad. So that's exactly what I have experienced. So I became team leader, and I turned this dream team. My teacher said to me, "Advik, you need to make this the dream team." And I turned the dream team into the meme team. And that's exactly what even Drake said. So the next time you're in a team and you know me, just contact me and tell me how your team leader is. Because emotionally intelligent people are always leaders and pioneers in their field. They know exactly who's good at what, and they know how to identify the best applicants for the job. They know how to extract the best work from their subordinates, and they do that by being self-aware. A high EQ lets you easily control your emotions and always be in control. Now, when I was in grade 7, I was not the best version of myself. I was this really weird person, you could say. Good in some things, really bad in the others. There's no midway. So I was on a cricket team of the school, and it was an official match. The other school had come to play, bright and sunny day, typical cricket match, school cricket match. And at that time, I was one of the best bowlers in my team, not to boast. I was the top bowler, let's say, not best. So I was one of the top bowlers. And I had this infamous delivery that I used to deliver, and it was a good length ball, right on the head, fast. And many people in my school were like, this is the ball you bowl really well. Bowl is in the match. So I did it, and it went for a 6. The person smashed it. The best connection of ball and bat I've ever seen in my life. It was just beautiful. But for me, it was not at the time. And at that time, I didn't control my emotions. So I kept on bowling the same ball just because I wanted him to miss. I wanted him to miss that one ball just to satisfy my ego. But if I had controlled my emotions that day, even though we won the match, we didn't qualify due to net run rate difference. To all the non-cricket fans, I'm so sorry. Yeah. But we didn't qualify, and at that time I realized just if I had controlled my emotions, I would have progressed, the others around me would have progressed. But in the end, we suffered, and just due to me, and me not controlling my emotions. Adapting to now, the next thing I'll try to talk about is adapting to change. Now, adapting to change is something I've done on my life. I've been forced to adapt, but not everybody does it. In the past 2 years, the pandemic has been there with us, but as a society, we've gone through it. How? Because of adaptability. Some of us who had a lot of it, it was easy for us. But for people who didn't, we did it. Why? Because we increased it. Now, the need of people who adapt quickly and fastly, they're the need of the hour. because we change all around us and it's increasing nature, we need to be so fast in adapting that once the changes come, we're already in it. When I shift schools, I look for as I said, I look for the people who are aware, who are conversing properly. And then I adapt properly. I don't react to change, I respond to it. Now, what do I mean by reacting to change and responding to it? A reaction would be you getting to know that the assembly is at 7:30, so you're right there. And you basically don't learn anything, just do something. Whenever somebody tells you, just do something. You don't learn it. And a response would be, you slowly go, you gradually understand what's happening, and then you adapt properly. And the need for this is because if we react to change, in the long term, we won't be successful. Something would go wrong, and then we would realize that this is something that happens here, and we're not aware of it. So we need to respond to it. Now, well, adjusting, the key element is to eliminate the negatives and concentrate on the positives. When I shift to a new place, I always look at the positives, but before I didn't do that. I constantly whined about the negatives of the place. So let me give you an example. 3 years ago, when I was in Guwahati, when I landed there, it was the most drab location I had been to. It was basically the most depressing place I had been to at that time. And I was telling my father, why did we come here? This is basically the worst place we've ever been to. So bad, so this, everything. And at that time, it was really obvious. Everybody knew that I was whining about it and I did not like the place. But now, 3 years later, I even miss the way and love it, how the sunshine came through the leaves and shined on my terrace. And that's why I would like to say that we need to give ourselves time to adapt. Once we give ourselves time to adapt, we adapt properly. We should never be too over-ambitious while adapting. You know, if you're like, we'll do this, we'll do that, basically in the first 3 days, you're trying to get settled completely. No, that's not how it works. Give yourself time to adapt. Don't be over-ambitious. Now, to conclude, I would just like to say that emotional intelligence is something that we all need. And don't worry, my friend, you can increase it. Now, how can we increase it? I'll just give you a timeline. When I was in class 7, I had this incident where one of my friends was a really big, nasty bully. He was this person constantly belittled others. He was in their heads completely. He told them that you don't do this, you don't do that, you're just the worst person alive. He made everybody feel bad. And one of my friends that day had a realization. He woke up like an Indian TV serial protagonist, and he went to him and he said, do you feel superior after doing this? Can you just listen? Can you just stop and listen? And he just gave these theatrical lines. And then in the next 4 months, we saw this big nasty bully transform into this introvert, or as hidden gem, as I like to call it. And from that, he went to this person who took responsibility. He adapted properly. He talked properly. His grades improved. The PTMs that were disastrous now were good at the least. And he basically became a person I like to be around and I respected. So the core message is that EQ can be improved via deliberate practice and exercise. You just need to exercise your emotions and control them, and then you will have an increased emotional quotient. It's not something that is evident at the start, but then once you look back at the time, it's completely evident that how you've grown. Now, I would like to come to my next thing. The emotional quotient domino effect. It's something that I've coined. I call it that because I'll tell you because of an incident that happened with me. The emotional quotient domino effect is basically you push one thing and everybody falls. So now I'm not going to tell you the names of the people in the situation. I'm just going to give you the situation. In the end, I'll tell you the names and then I'll prove the point. So there was this group and there was this person who had gone into it and he would have participated in it. And he was really hyperactive at first. He was this amazing person who did everything and really hyperactive. Basically, he was so energetic, he could work all day. But then, that hyperactive changed into irritated. And he didn't even realize how that hyperactive changed into irritated. And there were 7 team members at the time. So that hyperactive individual changed into an irritated individual. And the rest of the 6 also turned into irritated individuals. Why? Because this person was the leader, And his behavior rubbed off on everybody. The task that was interesting before, now everybody thought it was monotonous and uninteresting. And this became basically something that they wanted to get rid of. Everybody thought that this was a boring task and they just wanted to eliminate it out of their lives. And then protagonist number 2 comes in. He's this happy, upbeat person who's grooving to Uptown Funk all the time, and he's really amazing. And then his behavior rubs off on everybody around him, and those 6 people who were irritable became hyperactive again. Not hyperactive, I would say, they became enthusiastic. And this just shows that our behavior affects everyone around us. And that if we are emotionally intelligent, we know what to say when. And we know how to influence others around us. Now, who is the frustrated individual and who is the upbeat person? I was the frustrated individual and the upbeat person was my friend. Why I kept this to the end was because now I'm no more that frustrated individual. I try to be the best version of myself and I try to influence everyone around me positively. But this just proves my point that because I've exercised my emotions so much in the past 3 years, I have grown emotionally and I'm no more that frustrated individual. So this just proves my previous point that we can increase our emotional quotient. So if you think your emotional quotient is low, don't worry, you can still increase it. To conclude or summarize, I would just like to say that intelligence quotient is something we cannot disregard. It helps us, survive in some situations. But emotional quotient is something that will help us thrive in all of them. We need to be emotionally intelligent and adapt quicker. It's been an honor to be on the stage, and I'm having so much fun, just looking at the PPT and looking at the audience. But everything must come to an end. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's my time.